Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mia Yurka, and in today's video I will be sharing with you how I passed my NCLEX-RN exam after third attempt after graduating nursing school 11 years ago with 85 questions. If you are interested in this topic, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Click on the notification bell for future videos. And also, if you know someone who is currently studying for their NCLEX-RN exam or NCLEX-PN, go ahead and share this video with them. Maybe they might find some information that might be relatable to them. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get to the video. Alright guys, so we are back. Before we start, I would like to say if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes on here and I want to stay on topic. I don't want to go, stop yayawing and provide you guys with information that you do not really need to know. So we're gonna stay on topic. So if you see me looking down, that's because I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so let's get started. I graduated nursing school in December 2012, and it is currently July 2023. I took my exam in June of this year, last month, and I passed. In order for you to understand how I get to be where I am right now, let's go back a little bit so you can kind of like know a little bit of my story. The reason why I want to tell my story is because I feel like some people their story might be extremely relatable to what I went through, and I would like to share my story with you to let you know it's not the end of the world, and yes, you can do it too. Okay, so if you have been out of school for many years, it doesn't matter how many years you have been out of nursing school, and you want to go back to become a nurse, yes, you can do it. Okay, because if I can do it, you can do it. So let's get to my story real quick. So I graduated from nursing school in December of 2012. I was a really good student in nursing school. I have really good grade. So after I graduated, I studied for the board for 1 month. I was very confident in myself, and I went to go take the test, and I failed. Yes, I failed. And I was devastating, guys. I was devastated. I started having test anxieties. I didn't used to have test anxiety before. I was extremely depressed. I started asking myself if nursing was something that I was meant to do. Mind you, ever since I was a kid, nursing was always my passion. But the fact that I've never really felt something before, like it really hit hard, and my confidence was like really up there, guys. It really was really up there. So when I fell, I decided I wanted to take a long break. At that time I was working in retail as a customer service assistant manager, and I was just focusing on that. I take a long time off. I then opened the book, and as the years started to increase, my level of anxiety is getting higher and higher. The store that I was working for, my manager at that store decided to switch field, and she went into aviation. And then she ended up calling me one day, and she asked me if I would like to come and work with her again, but this time in aviation. I decided, why not? Like nursing, I didn't want to think about it. Every time I open a book that had related to nursing, my anxiety just started creeping in, and it was just crazy. I don't know, maybe that was like defense mechanism that my body was automatically using. Like I'll open the book and I'll fall asleep on it, or I'll open the book and I started to have headaches, and it was really bad. So I went in aviation and I started to grow in there. I loved aviation. So I decided, maybe I can actually grow in this field. And I went to their manager and training program, and I become an accounting associate, and I was working towards growing in the field of aviation. Um, as I, started growing, and I started to feel like I was missing something, although I really love what I was doing, but I still had like this hole in my stomach that made me feel incomplete. I felt like I was not doing the thing that I was supposed to be doing. I started asking, what is my purpose? I started praying. I started becoming extremely spiritual in a way, because I felt like something was missing. Okay. So as I started praying God and stuff like that, and asking him, what is my purpose in this world? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? I'm doing a job. Yes, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but I don't feel fulfilled. There is something missing. And then I'm like, oh my God, if nursing is what I'm supposed to be doing, that I'm supposed to be, I come to this earth to do, then I need to at least give it another chance. So with that being said, I started studying again. Before I even go further, one thing I would like to say to those of you that are watching, those of you who take NCLEX multiple times and you failed it, those of you who, who went to school for nursing and then you failed NCLEX and then you just decided to switch your career overall, and you might be successful in that career, but you still feel like nursing was what you were supposed to do. My thing to you is, do not give up. Listen to the universe, listen to the people around you, watch the signs, and eventually you will get there. And that is exactly what I did, guys. So when I got to aviation, I decided I wanted to give it another try, right? As I was starting to thinking of giving it another try, my best friend decided she wanted to go back to school for nursing, and I was trying to convince her to go as a registered nurse. I'm like, go ahead and get your registered nurse, that way you can kill two birds with one stone, and stuff like that. And I started, she basically started motivating me, and I'm like, okay, if you go and you get your NCLEX-RN, maybe we can study together, and maybe I'll give it a try again, and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. So she went to school. She started her nursing school, but instead of going for the RN, she decided to go for the RPN, which is not a big difference when it comes to studying. But she started motivating me to start studying again. So I started studying again for my NCLEX-RN. Last year, 2022, after so many years out of school, and this is me making the story short because it could have been extremely long, I decided to go back and take the exam. And I will tell you guys what I use and everything like that later on in this video, so stay tuned, okay? So in 2022, I decided to go take the exam again, and then I failed it again, guys, for the second time. Once again, the depression starts again, and now I started to really think, okay, maybe nursing is not what I was meant to do. I'm just gonna stick in doing aviation, and stuff like that. But a part of me really wanted me to keep on going. A part of me, still yearning to know, like, to want to know if that's what I was meant to do, like, no lie. So my best friend graduated at the beginning of this year. She studied, she went to take the test, and she passed it. That take me really like overboard now, and I'm like, okay, let me try this thing one more time. This is literally what I said. Let me try this thing one more time, and if I pass it, then I pass it. If I failed it, at least I know I've given it my all, I've did my best, and and I'll move on with being in accounting, because I already was starting going to school for my master's in accounting. So I was like, I'll continue with accounting and never look back at nursing. Okay, and this is what I did. So the first time I went to take the test, well, before we even go, something is coming in my head that I feel like I wanted to tell you. Sometime when something doesn't happen in life at a time for you, is because God is saying that you are not ready. And in my case, that was my case. Okay, the multiple time looking back now, and I'm like, okay, there is certain thing I could have done, but the fact that it wasn't my time to pass the NCLEX, then I was not seeing those signs. I was not paying attention to those signs. But when you are ready and it's your time, all those signs gonna become clearer, and you're gonna start making better decisions to pass the test. So if you are studying for the test right now, like I said, if you go with the mentality that you are going to pass the test, go with the mentality that you can pass the test, because there's a lot of people that are taking the test and they are passing it. Okay, so you are not dumb. It's not because you're not smart. It's because there are other things, other factors that are in play that you are not seeing. I just want to put that out there. Okay, so for the third time, I decided to go take the test. The first time I went to go take the test, this is what I use. Okay, the first time I used Sanders, I used Remar, and I used Kaplan. For the first time I went to go take the test to study. I did not take any days off. I was studying, working full time, and when I went to go take the test for the first time, the computer shut off at 145 questions. Okay, the question, I had like a lot of selected or apply, guys, a lot of selected or apply. Excuse me. And when I left that test, that's why I felt very confident that I passed, because it was a lot of selected or apply. But at the same time, the question seems to be, not too hard, but at the same time, there wasn't easy. So, if you take the test already multiple times, you know how you felt, right? And if you had asked me, what was the last question, or what were some of the questions I was getting on the test, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because I don't remember any of that. That was the first time. The second time I went to take the test, I decided to start over from scratch. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to act like I don't know nothing. And I'm going to go back and restudy again. Maybe I'm missing the content, or I'm missing something. So the second time I went to go take the test, guys, the computer shuts off at 75 questions. And I use Mark-Klimek, I use uworld, and I use nursing.com. And I'll put the stuff, right there, and I can go in more details and how I use those. So like I said, the computer shut off at 75, and this time I really thought, okay, yeah, I probably passed the test because it's 75, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. Come back again, and I received a couple of days, I received my report. They didn't even take time. They sent me my report, and I failed. All right. On the third time, I erased, like I say, if I could have erased my mind and trying to forget everything and trying to learn new things, like learn it different ways or whatever, I would have. So on the third time, I decided I was not going to use the same material. I'm going to switch up. On the third time, I decided to use NCLEX High Heel with Dr. Zishan. I use uworld, and I also use Simple Nursing. So on the third time, my computer shut off at 85 questions, and I felt like when I got out of this test, I felt like I did way better than before. The reason why I knew is because this time I didn't cry, because usually when I get off the test, I cried. I didn't know how I did. I don't remember any of the questions, but this time I felt like I was in control of my test. And one reason why I wanted to tell my story is because one thing that I did different from the previous tests that I took was I decided to go ahead and see a psychologist, because one of my friend, I remember one time was telling me, I was telling him that, you know, because I know my knowledge, I know, I was confident that I know my content, because the first time I feel like I didn't really know my content. So with what was that one, with nursing.com, I used their system, and they had a system called NCLEX, which I use. With nursing.com, I was able to get a lot of the content the second time that I was not comfortable with. So I knew my content, but my thing was, it's just, and I was scoring high. Another thing too, I was scoring high on my practice exams. So it's just when I get on the test, I guess I freaked out, and I don't know what happened. My anxiety just overtaking me to the point where I remember when you get to the setting, they ask you to turn off your phone and put it in a bag, guys. I couldn't even remember how to turn off my phone. That's how high of anxiety, that's how high my level of anxiety was, right? So what I did this time, I decided to see a psychologist, because remember I was saying, you know, this is my last time taking this test, and if this is my last time taking this test, I'm giving it everything that I got. So I took a week off from work. That was another thing that I've done differently, because I've never usually take days off to study. So I took a week off from work, and during that week I was doing, you know, NCLEX exam. I was doing question using uworld, and I was also, anything that I feel like I was not comfortable with, I was going back, listening to Dr. Zishan on his content, and then I was like trying to get better at those content. And Dr. Zishan's have, for me, everybody have their different studying style, but the way he explained things make things click in my brain. And if you guys haven't heard of Dr. Zishan, he's with NCLEX High Heel. Try to go ahead and listen to his videos. He's on YouTube. He have a podcast, free podcast on Spotify. I used to listen to those things every morning when I'm driving to work. I'm playing Dr. Zishan's in my head. He has something that is called the method. Follow the method, because even on the test I was following the method. And he have as graph, he have Napa, he have all those different things that can help you understand and critically think when you're on the test, right? So I decided to go see a psychologist, and I explained to her my signs and symptoms that I was having, because my friend was telling me, hey, I think you are having test anxiety based on what you were saying, but I never really paid attention to test anxiety. But let me tell you, I explained to her my situation. She's like, don't worry, yeah, you definitely have test anxiety. I'm gonna give you something to help you. So she prescribed me propranolol, wow. She prescribed me propranolol, which is a beta blocker, but she said, according to research, and lately a lot of people or students have been succeeding with it when it comes to test anxiety, because it slows down everything, your heart rate, sorry. I used to get very jittery, you know, like my mind went blank as soon as I sit in front of the computer. I have to do my breathing techniques to remember, okay, I'm taking the test. So it was that bad. But on the day of the test, as I was driving to the test center, that was like 30 minutes prior to the test, I take the pills. When I get to the center, guys, I'm telling you, I was so calm. When I sat in front of that computer, I was in control. Now, I'm bringing this up to tell you, some of you guys or might not be passing the test not because you don't know your content, maybe because you are having test anxiety. And if you are, I would say try to see somebody and explain. If you feel like you have crazy test anxiety, try to see someone before you go take the test this time. Maybe they can help you. Okay? If you know for sure you have test anxiety, see someone before you go take the test this time. If you know for sure you know your content, okay, and you are taking your, when you at home, you are scoring high on those practice exam, then go see somebody. If you are taking those practice exam at home and you are scoring low, then you might be lacking the content, and go ahead and try to use maybe like um NCLEX Heal if Dr. Zishan is your style of learning, or the nursing.com. They have like a lot of videos, a lot of materials on their site as well. So trying to find out which system works for you. At the end, it was really, I used a lot of NCLEX Heal with Dr. Zishan. I use uworld a lot. I did a lot of the new gen NCLEX question. I love them actually. I find that they were more easier than before, to tell the truth. So if you are panicking right now, do not panic. If people are saying the NCLEX is getting harder, no, it's not harder. Actually, I find it was much more easier than before. Okay, because you have to remember, for the multiple choice questions, you are getting some credit. Before, we was not getting any credit. You get everything wrong, or you get like two things wrong, or you get one thing's right, or you get one thing's wrong, the entire question is thrown out. Now it's not like that. You do get credit. And also those new case studies questions, they give you everything that you need. It's just you need to be able to critically think through them to find out what is my patient is having. So those questions are much more easier for me. That format was much more easier, so maybe that's why I felt more comfortable. And plus, the propranolol was helping me, God knows, because when that computer get to 75 and it did not shut off, I did not get nervous. I did not go, off the wall. And I take 2 breaks, guys. I take 2 breaks. Okay, Dr. Zishan has something where he was training us how to do like 40 questions, take a break, come back and do another 40 questions, take a break. So I did that. I followed that. After 40 questions, I decided to take a break, go get some air outside, drink some water, and I come back. I was ready to sit down to take another 40 questions. After that 40 questions again, I got up when the computer didn't shut off. I called for another break. I went outside, eat a snack or something, drink some water, take some breather, and I come back. And after 5 more questions, guys, the computer shut off. So my advice to you, if you are going to take the test right now and you are studying for it, make sure you are studying the right thing. Do not bombard yourself with too many things. Just choose one program, choose one question program, and go with it. For example, if you decided to go with NCLEX Heal, then do NCLEX Heal and do uworld, and just focus on the scenario. Do not try to go around and do all different type of questions or different type of system, because that will get you so overwhelmed and you're gonna be wasting time. So focus, choose one, choose one studying system. And if you're gonna use uworld or other question, Kaplan, some people use Kaplan, use something like that, and then focus on understanding the content, focus on doing questions so you can understand how they're asking the questions. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys have, get some information so you can use towards your studying. Good luck. You can do it. Okay, if it's your time for you to become a nurse this year, you will be able to do it. And also, do not stress. The NCLEX literally for me was easier. So do not overstudy yourself. Do not overly thinking stuff. Take your time, breathe, go see someone for help if you feel like you have test anxiety, because I felt like if I had went maybe like from the first time after I fell and I had went to see somebody, I would have been a nurse already. That could have been the case, but the fact that I was not thinking about that, I don't think it was my time to pass yet, so I was not saying that. So good luck on your test. I look forward to bring you guys more content like this. Let me know if that was helpful. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.